Howdy folks, it's Untitled here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are a quarter of the way done with the Australia Southeastern bush trip. Leg 2 today, you know the drill, one leg per video, so that's all the introduction you get. Let's get flying. Alright, so the first thing we do is come down here and do repair and refuel. Watch the fuel go up and let's check our flaps. So the flaps haven't been starting down in this bush trip. Isn't that interesting? They start down in all the other bush trips though. Very curious. Alright, let's get some things reset. I did leave the sim. It is now a few days later from the previous video. IRL. So I need to get some stuff going here. We do need to use the timer here because the timer on the Nav Log is broken. If you start the timer and you leave the window and you come back, the timer resets to 0. Just like these. Expand when you come back. Very annoying. It's happening in the Australian bush trips in Liberia. Some world update bush trips. We'll see if it happens with the next world update, whenever that is. I've kind of lost track. There's so much to keep track of in real life. I am not the resource for the latest and greatest info on what is next. I just know that there'll be another update and hopefully things get fixed. Alrighty, let's see. We got that going. We'll put that away for right now. Window's already up, although for this bush trip it doesn't matter. It did matter for the Patagonia one though. But not for this. Alrighty, let's see where we are on the runway. I don't think, yeah, we don't need to back taxi or anything. We have a really long runway. Oh yeah, plenty of space. Alrighty, leg 2, one leg per video, so only 4 videos for this trip, which is okay. It's still a long one though, still over 3 hours. Let's see, does the map come up more quickly? No, the map is still very sluggish. But we will deal with that. So let's bring up the Nav Log. 45 minutes, so this is going to take us about an hour probably, realistically for me. Everything's spaced out, it looks like, so we'll be reading about things one at a time, except maybe somewhere in here. Alrighty, first thing we're going to do is get back in the air and head southwest, roughly following Kosciuszko Road to Lake Jindabyne. So we're looking for a lake, so we need to do all of our stuff ourselves because we don't have the GPS because I restarted the sim, and I would have restarted it anyway just to get rid of the GPS because it's fun to let the computer do it, but it's also more fun to fly yourself. So here we go, 240 degrees for about 8 minutes. So let's switch the heading bug to 240 degrees, which I guess is faster to go this way. So spin that around, spinny, spinny, spinny. I could have just reset it and then moved it to the right. Would have been faster still. 240 degrees. So off and to the right when we take off. We're doing that for what, 8 minutes or so? 8 minutes or so. So let's come over here and use this map instead, of course. And we're looking for a lake, which is probably right. Do you think that's 8 minutes? Or do you think there's another one? Could be that. Depends on the scale. So we'll start like this, and we'll see how far we get in 8 minutes. That's all there is to it. So here we go, parking brake off, or is it on now? I don't know, now it's off, I think. Full throttle. Get comfortable in my chair, and get rolling here. Not rolling in my chair like what normally happens, but rolling, rolling on the runway in the simulator. Alright, airspeed is alive. Yes, I'm a little giddy. I'm tired. I didn't get any sleep in the past couple days because of sick children, so I'm goofy. Oops, I just literally dropped my yoke. Oops, that hurt actually. Alrighty, brakes to stop the wheels. Why is it so wobbly? And flaps coming in. And we will set up autopilot in a second once we hand fly out of here. There we go. This ground turbulence and train turbulence so close to flat ground is crazy ever since Sim Update 9. Maybe it's just my imagination, but I don't think so. Alrighty, let's go this way now, and let's start our timer since we have cleared the runway. And let's fly towards the heading bug while we keep climbing. What altitude do we want to do? We're already at 3,000 feet, so let's go 6,000 feet because there is some terrain up there, not 11. Whoops, there's 6 right there. Is that 6 or 69? 69. Let's straighten out now. Let's keep our climb going. And wrong dealio. There we go. There is 6,000. We're still climbing. Our speed is good. And we're staying on task. And wow, I'm really enjoying hand flying. Yeah, that definitely is our lake 8 minutes out because we're barely moving on there. I'm really enjoying this hand fly thing, but it's hard to get sightseeing views with y'all. Because as I said many times before, I cannot use the drone when I hand fly because my drone controls are my yoke controls. So I lose control of my aircraft. So I either need to do, well, I need to do some type of autopilot. Either trim it absolutely perfectly over perfectly flat ground without train turbulence, or use autopilot. So that's why we use autopilot so much in this. Flight director, we're going to use the heading bug. We're going to climb 700 feet per minute, and let's engage autopilot now. Look at that, so smooth you couldn't even tell. There we go. Autopilot is engaged just for the ease of sightseeing and looking around. We're heading towards this lake. I don't need to say anything else, so I'm going to give you some sightseeing, and I'll see you in 6.5 minutes my time, which will just be a minute or two your time. See you then. Alright, we're coming up on our lake already, and the train turbulence is making me kind of silly, but we will deal with it. Alright, there's the lake there. We're about a minute out, so we're, yeah, only a little ahead of schedule. Depending on which way we're turning, though, we might need to climb. So let's preview this super fast. So we're going to go the same, a little to the right, the same. So we're going up in here. So let's start climbing before we read about the next thing, because that is where we're headed. Let's go up another 2,000 feet. That's not, let's keep an eye on our climb rate, though. We don't want to get too slow, but we do want to get up there. We want to stay high enough that we can avoid a little bit of this train turbulence, because this is crazy. I know it's realistic. When you watch these planes in real life on YouTube and such, they shake around a lot more than people realize, I think. You got to remember, I come from older simulators and X-Plane where you don't have train turbulence. At least at the time of this recording, you don't. So, I'm not used to all this shaking. So it makes you more honest, though, with your altitude, doesn't it? Looking good. I'm really impressed with the scenery on this lake. It is inconsistent. The simulator does have inconsistent qualities of scenery, satellite scaling, all that stuff. But this isn't too bad. Not too bad at all. Alrighty, let's see. We're about to reach our lake, so let's read about the next deal here. Oh my gosh, I'm getting really dizzy. 241 degrees, not much of a difference, so let's go up 1 degree. There we go. We're over the lake, so let's restart the timer. And where are we going? What are we going to read about here? We are going to Threadbow River. Continue on the southwest course, passing to the north of the town of Jinnabin, to the Threadbow without saying river, which lies to the north in a line of prominent peaks. I do notice the typos in this, and not translation things, but typos like this are all over the place in these bush trips, but whatever. Alright, I totally forgot what I said. It's the fibromyalgia short-term memory thing. Prominent peaks, that's going to be up here. 4 minutes, yeah, so we're heading to right here. And there's a river there, just over a town, so The river probably isn't going to show up on this. Unless I go like that, maybe. So let's just do that. We're a little slow. Let's nose down just a hair so we don't stall. Timer's going. We got a minute already. We're going to add a little bit of this because we're climbing too. So about 5 minutes we should see the river. I mean, you see it on the GPS, right? And then we're going to turn ever so slightly. So basically, I'm going to keep an eye on altitude to make sure we clear this. We're at 8,000 now. I don't know if we're going to clear that. You know what? Let's keep going up. Let's go all the way to 10. Let's do 500 feet per minute. Let's bring back our mixture a little bit because of high altitude. And get some more power in here. 40, 2450, 60. I'm looking over here. As soon as it drops, I'll put in 10%, 80, 70, 60. So let's go back in. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. Max power we can get out of this, huh? I don't know. I'm a little nervous. Let's nose down a little bit. We're getting kind of slow. Let's actually hop outside and look at this together. There's our river we're heading towards. And once we get to the river, we'll read about the next thing. I just want to make sure we cover that train up there. That we don't crash into it. Looking cool, though. There's our lake. I think it said there's a town. I mean, there's lots of towns around this. So that might be the town there we were looking for. And then we're headed to the river. We're pretty high. Look at those paved roads. There's actually paved roads out here. Anyway, let's get to this river here in a moment, and then we'll continue on and make our turn. So this says 4.5 minutes, and I don't really think... Yeah, we're not quite there yet. We're going to wait till we get over the river before we make our turn, just because we've been climbing, which means it's going to take us longer. I mean, it's not much of a turn anyway, but we want to make sure we don't turn too soon, because that'll throw us off later. But I think our elevation, or altitude, sorry, is going to be fantastic. We're going to stop just before these clouds. In fact, you know, let's just bring this down to 9,500. Just so we stay out of the clouds here. And I think we're going to be good. Yeah. Alright, because it's a VFR trip, let's look outside with the drone just for a moment. Looking at our river down there. Some other little towns. And there's that lake back there. And the river. And the forests. Can you see the forest through the trees? Alright, hopefully we won't get icing up here, because icing, I believe, would be on for the bush trip. So there we go. Hopefully we speed up soon, because we're getting really slow. Alrighty, let's see here. Let's move to 248 degrees and we'll read about it. So just to the right a little bit. Restart the timer and read about these peaks. We are headed to... Not there, not there. Main range of the Snowy Mountains. Turn slightly toward the high ridge of peaks. The main range of the Snowy Mountains, home of the highest peaks of Australia, for 4.5 minutes. Which, yeah, could be true because we're headed right here, obviously. I mean, that seems pretty obvious to me. So that could be about 4.5 minutes out. There we go. And then looks like, well, it looks pretty high up there too, but this is supposed to be the highest, so that's what we're looking for. How are we doing here? 9,500. We're going to speed up now a little bit. Good. We haven't done mountain flying like this in a while, have we? Yes, we have, because we were using those airplanes that would not get power when it brought back mixture. It's kind of strange. But anyway, let's enjoy these peaks for a minute. When we get to the ridge, we'll see if it lines up with 4 minutes or so, and then we'll 5 minutes, I guess. And then I'll see you in a moment after just a touch of sightseeing here. Alright, we're about to reach the peaks, but I really want to go back to this view because this is incredible. I just want to stare at that with you for a minute. Wow, look at that dirt road in the valley. Man, I have to get out more. I have to get out more and out of Minnesota so I can see some of these places. Where have I been? I know I talk about it from time to time, but not everybody watches every video, so I don't get out much. I live vicariously through the simulator, and I live vicariously through my wife, who has traveled the world up through grad school until she met me and had us settle down and get a PhD and have kids and stuff. But she still travels with her mom and sister quite a bit, at least once a year to an exotic trip around the world. Of course, I'm never invited, but someone has to stay home and watch the children, and it's me. So anyway, where has my wife been? All over the place. Where has she not been is the question. Where have I been? I've been to Thunder Bay, Canada, because, and I've been to this place called Something Crossing, Canada, which is just two dirt roads come together, and there's a gas station there because everybody in that area comes to Minnesota to work. I guess I have been to Colorado, the Denver area, and in the mountains, and Estes Park. That was really stinking cool. I have some great photos from the airplane rides there, and we have some great video from the dash cam on that scary state highway or US highway that goes through there, where from the driver's perspective you can't see the ground. Absolutely petrifying, but from the dash cam view it looked fine. Anyway, and I've been to California. So I mean, I have gotten out of Minnesota, just nothing like crazy like this. Although Denver is pretty darn cool. Alrighty, we're well above 1,000 feet above our train, and we're still shaking like crazy, which I guess is pretty realistic. Alrighty, can we start coming down a little bit though? I want to get out of these clouds. Let's come down to 8,900 feet if we can. Just slowly, and keep an eye on our speed. Alrighty, we just went over the huge peak of mountain, so what is next on our list? Let's restart the timer now, because we are a little bit ahead. Next on the list will be Mount Coscuoso, which is 30 seconds, which is 7,300 feet. We just passed it 30 seconds away. We just went over it. That's actually what we were looking at from the outside. Ooh, look down there. That's pretty cool, but yeah, we just went by the mountain. 7,000 feet. Yeah, I guess 9,000 feet, 2,000 feet difference. Okay, that would make sense. So let's read about the next thing after this. Oh, I wish this would stay collapsed. Drives me nuts. The Murray River, 4 minutes out, so that's going to be right here on the GPS, or on the view here. 214 degrees though, so let's get back to 14 so we can stay on target for the next stuff. There we go. So we'll keep the timer running, although we will know when we get to the river, because we'll see the river. And that'll help us recalibrate our timing. But hopefully we're going to come down so we're out of these clouds soon. We're still in the clouds, but we still have terrain in front of us too. Nothing like we just saw. So that was 7,000 something feet. 7.3 I think it said. There's nothing that crazy, but I don't really want to come down much lower. There we go. We got through some clouds. We'll stay like this for a while. Otherwise, what did it say? We're looking for this river, which we're just about to go over already. Then after that, we're going to turn again. I guess I could just go like this, and that will keep everything collapsed, I think. But I really don't want that on my screen when I go out here, see? But it is nice to keep it collapsed. Whatever. Let's see here, Murray River, that's where we're headed now. That's about 4 minutes out, but we're not going to worry about the time because we're going to see it out the window. Then after that, we'll go to a lake. So let's keep this like this for now until we read about the lake. Because we're just going to stay together here for a minute. Looking good, though. There's a river under the nose. Yep, we're about to go over the river right now. Oh, can't quite see it. Let's go like this. Come here. Lean, stretch, lean. There's the river right there. Okay. That was simple enough. So what was next? River. We're going to turn 246 degrees. Now we're going back this way again. We're kind of zigzagging through here, I guess. 246, let's restart the timer. Yeah, we got way ahead on that one, which is totally okay. And what does it say? It says, to the west-southwest lies Lake Dartmouth, also called the Dartmouth Reservoir, which was formed by damming the Midda, the Gibo, and the Dart rivers. So there's going to be a reservoir-looking thing with river, so probably right here. It said like 12 minutes out, right? Yep, 12 minutes out. Alrighty, cool. So I'm going to give you a bunch of sightseeing, relatively speaking, until we get to here, which is pretty obvious what we're looking for. And then we'll read about the town, and then we'll land the airplane. So there you go. Pretty simple. I may make adjustments to our altitude as we go. I'll just talk about it later. In fact, let's come down to 8,000. I think we'll be good coming down 8,000. Just to get out of these clouds, I think. Right. Let me think this through. What do we got for a train in front of us? It shouldn't be that crazy because back there was only 7,300 feet. And that still puts us 1,000 above that, and this is all lower. So we have to be good if we go to 8,000. We have to be. Yeah. Alrighty. Sightseeing for you. I'll see you at this lake reservoir thing in a couple minutes. So we're coming up on the lake there. I'm trying to decide about elevation because looking ahead at the nav log, we're going to go this way a little bit. Then we're going to make a sharp turn like backwards or something. I don't quite understand. So maybe it's a little early to come down because of all this terrain over here. So I think we'll stay where we're at in terms of elevation or altitude. And then we'll circle to land if we need to, even if it adds a bunch of time. Otherwise, we are about over the lake. Just about. I'm going to wait till we get centered and then we'll make our next move. But let's look out the window and enjoy the scenery together here. And I once again did not realize that Australia had mountain ranges like this. I mean, of course they would if you think about geology and where Australia is and how it's made. But I never really thought that deeply about the mountain ranges. So this is really cool. Very different than the mountain ranges in Europe, for sure. Alright, are we close enough? I'd say we're close enough, so let's see here. Well, let's see, it did say 12 minutes or so. And we got, let's go another minute and a half. Alright, there we go, close enough. Let's restart the timer. And we're going to go to 248 degrees. Not much of a change. Just a little bit to the right. And we're going to go for another 11 minutes to the town of Tawonga. situated on the Kiowa River, lies to the west-southwest of Lake Dartmouth. So 11 minutes out, we're going to a town. And then we're going to look, right after that, look for Mount Beauty Airport. So I'm not worried about the 145 degrees because we'll see it well before then. And I'm getting alerts from my children's school because the admin works late at night, apparently. Alrighty, so Mount Beauty Airport, we'll see it. So we don't really need to worry about the heading or timing. Thankfully, it is paved. I do believe our next destination, though, is grass. So at least we get a paved runway. It looks pretty long, too, by some water. Shouldn't be too difficult to spot. So anyway, we're looking for this town. That's about 11 minutes out or so. And then we're looking for an airport. Hopefully it shows up. 12 minutes out is off the screen here. But if I zoom out, we're not going to see anything. So we're going to hope that it comes into view somewhat soon. I hope. I'll see you in a little bit. You're going to... Whoa, what is that? You're going to get some sightseeing... Oh, clouds. You're going to get some sights... What I'm trying to say is... You're going to get some sightseeing while I figure out why I'm getting texts and messages so late at night. But, I can't see anything. At all. I can't... So let's get out of the clouds. But, I don't want to hit any terrain either. So that's not very fair that they're doing this to us, because all this stuff is preset. So they want us to go lower. That's what that tells me. But there's also terrain up here. So I'm going to navigate while you sightsee and while I respond to some messages late at night. See you in a little bit. Alright, our airport is on the GPS, so I see what's going to happen. We're going to go over here into this valley. There's supposed to be a town there, and then we're going to turn back to 145 degrees and follow this valley down as our way to descend. So that all makes sense now. Quite pleased to have figured that out. So, we're not quite at the town. I assume the town is in the valley. It just says it's southwest town situated on the river. Rivers are usually in valleys, and we still have a couple minutes left to go. So I assume if we zoom in, there's a river here. Yep, so there's a town here, then we'll follow the river in. There you go. So very simple. I just wanted to give you a quick little update, so don't mind me, just back to sightseeing. I'll see you in a little bit. So here's our valley. I don't quite see a town. I'm not quite over the valley yet, although sure it looks like we are. We will take over a hand fly in a moment. And somewhere down there is an airport. Maybe the airport is right there because there's the water we saw in the preview image. And it does look like it's at the end of the valley. So I don't know. As soon as we crest this bridge line, we will take over, which I guess is right now. So let's kill autopilot and let's bring back throttles. We can stop this. Whoop, let's not go that way. And put that away and start our steep descent into the valley and check out This airport. I'm looking for a town. I don't quite see it. It could be directly under us. Could not be. Let's use the chase cam. No, that's not going to work. Let's do drone for a quick second. Do you see a town down there? I do not. So maybe it's over here somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, we have a lot of altitude to come down in a short amount of time. Because again, I'm pretty sure that's our airport. If we look at the reference image, it shows some water. So I'm thinking that's it. Yeah, we're still pretty high. So we're going to have to do some circling, but that's okay. Oh, there it is. Yep, see? Right there. We could slip it. Or we could just zigzag, or we could spiral. What do we want to do? We have lots of options. As long as you don't overspeed or stress the aircraft too much. Because I do not want to redo this leg. Let's try slipping it a little bit. So let's do right rudder. And then left wing down. So what's going to happen is look at our altitude come down very, very quickly. But our speed is not going up. See that? Because we're slipping it. You can't tell because I have it smooth, but if you look at the numbers, it's there. Right? If I were to nose down to come down that quickly, we would be gaining a lot of speed. This then is not slipping, so see how we're gaining a lot of speed as we descend. So that's your difference between slipping and not. As far as real life slipping, it depends on the airplane and the whatchamacallit, the flaps and all that stuff. So, but in the simulator, we take a few more liberties perhaps. Anyway, we're not going to make this, so we got to turn around while we descend. The corkscrew down. And keep an eye on our descent rate so it's not too unrealistic. And then keep an eye on our speed, which isn't really a problem. We will have plenty of time to bleed off the speed. So what we'll do is we'll come around the corner here. Maybe, yeah, let's do standard rate turn because we got to get around here. There we go. And then maybe we'll slip it again. We do know that the runway orientation is behind us because of the terrain. Is pretty easy to tell. So let's give ourselves a little bit more space here to come down. And then we'll make our turn back. And still no throttle. Here we go. Let's make a sharp U-turn here. Keep your feet on the rudders to keep this dash centered. That's your stepping on the ball. And let's not lose too much altitude now because we are pretty low. Keep an eye on that speed as well. Nose down to get some speed back. And nose up to slow down again. And start coming down. There's a runway off to the left. We'll get some flaps in a second. We did gain a little bit too much speed, which was too bad because we were doing very well. I don't know exactly what happened there, but anyway, we should be good. Yeah, we have plenty of room to bleed off the speed. We'll do flaps in a moment here. Remember, you're not using flaps as brakes, although they do work like brakes, but that's not what they're for. Let's do flaps right now a little early, but there we go. Get settled in here. Follow the river to the runway. Do not hit the trees. Let's look outside very, very quickly at the scenery as we conclude the second leg of the Australia Southeastern bush trip. Gotta get that right. All right, 2 flaps now. I don't think we need to go full flap. Just come in nice and gently. Haven't had throttles for a long time now. We're not going to need throttles either, I don't think. Maybe a blip of throttle at the end, but I don't think so. Here we go. Aim for the near end of the runway at those numbers. Keep an eye on our speed. We're a little fast, but we have plenty of space. So I'm not worried about it. And clear the fence. There we go. And round out a little bit, let ground effects soften us up a little bit here. Slight flare and grease that thing. Boom, nose wheel down very gently. Get back in the middle here with the rudders. Step on the brakes, flaps coming in. Very nice. Look for that save icon. There it is. Oh, cool. It only took like 11 minutes longer than it was supposed to or something. Awesome. All right, that concludes the second leg of our bush trip. You know the drill. One like for videos, so like and subscribe so you know when the next leg is uploaded. And I'll see you then.